After we arrived at the shopping district, I signed a second phone contract in my name and then we headed home. Nothing particularly interesting happened. The only thing that really happened was Crow begging to open the box the phone came in as we walked home. Afterwards, I gave Crow a long lecture on how to use her phone until it was time for dinner, and then...
これでメールを送れておるか?
How boilerplate can you get? Yeesh! Lazing around in my room after dinner, I got a message from Crow, who was in the main building. Crow understood this world fairly well by now, so she picked up on how to use her phone and sent texts pretty quickly. I was about to send her some kind of boring response like, yeah, I got it, but I had the feeling that, since it would be the first response she'd get to a text she sent, I should put a little more thought into it. I remember that when someone first replied to one of my text messages, even if it was pretty boring in retrospect, it gave me quite a feeling of accomplishment. I was so naive back then. Then I heard the sound of footsteps running through the hall. Crow had run all the way over to my room. I was just about to send you a reply. You didn't have to come all the way here just to check.
気になるのだからすぐに返事をせえ.
You're even worse than Misaki.
携帯電話というのはやはり楽しいな.
She was so excited about having a phone that my retort sailed right over her head. When you were a ghost, you always made fun of us for being on our phones all the time.
知らんの。よし、使い方が分かったし、みちるからみゆやみさきの連絡先も教えてもらってこよう。
Crow happily turned to exit the room. Oh, wait a second.
なんだ、いちいち呼び止めをって。
When did I become a whelp anyway? I got out my wallet, then took out one of my precious few 10,000 yen bills, along with a few more 1,000 yen ones. I don't want you to be walking around without any money, and I imagine there's going to be a few things you'll need in future as well, so try to make this last. Crow's eyes glimmered with excitement, just like when she first got her phone.
お主、見かけによらずいい男だな。今なら何でもしてやろうという気分になるぞ。
Anything? Anything? Man, you're loose. I heaved a sigh and handed her the money. Though, hearing a girl say she'd do anything after I gave her a fat wad of cash was... Hey, don't get excited, buddy. Anyway, don't spend it all at once.
任せておけ。
I'm not so sure about that, but it does take practice to learn how to budget your money.
そうだな。駅に入るところの機械を往復したい気分ではあったのだが。
That would be a huge waste of money.
わかっておるわ。
Will she really be okay? Also, you should talk to Michiru. She can probably get you a wallet and some other little things you'll need.
みちるが?
Considering who she is, she receives a lot of gifts from people, but since she's blind, she doesn't get attached to them, so she should have a lot of things like that which don't have any use to her lying around. And if you mention that it's a favor I'm asking of her, she'll no doubt be eager to help you.
なるほど。行ってくる。
Once again, Crow turned on her heels and dashed out. For crying out loud. She'd gone from gazing at the moon wistfully like a character in a subpar animated film the previous night to practically bouncing off the walls today. Talk about mood whiplash. In any case, between her cell phone, money, and the school she'd be attending, that took care of most of the basic essentials for Crow to manage in day-to-day life. She seemed to be acclimating to things surprisingly quickly. I had been pessimistically thinking that nothing exciting would happen in my life anymore, but now I was starting to get the feeling that there were still fun and exciting things in my future. Still, this doesn't really feel like I'm starting a new game plus, it's more like my save data got wiped out and I'm starting from scratch. Sitting there with a grin and thinking about the future, I suddenly remembered Crow's message and how I hadn't sent a response yet. thinking about it for a brief moment, I typed out my reply. Just cool it, don't run in the hallways. Several days later, Makoto finished making arrangements for Crow's documentation. After we'd submitted it to the school, the day finally came when she could accompany us there. But first things first.
Hi! Good morning, ご主人様!
Wait, what? Suddenly hearing an unfamiliar voice, combined with the sensation of the sheets being pulled off me, I sprang wide awake. Standing before me was a maid I didn't recognize. As if, hi Dee. Even while my brain was still groggy with sleepiness, I figured out what was happening right away. Welcome back! It feels like I haven't seen you in a long time. The healing power of her pastoral smile hadn't changed a bit, but a thought occurred to me. Once again, no one had told me exactly what day Dee would be arriving in Japan. Michiru set up the same situation on purpose, didn't she? Well, anyway, do you understand what happened to me, you and all the others? I tried to pat down my morning bad head as I asked her that. Then that saves me from having to explain too much. Yeah, but I'm not sure exactly who has it the roughest. I lightly alluded to it. Dee definitely had the largest burden out of everyone to bear, and knowing that I wouldn't be able to accept her feelings made me feel pretty gloomy. How has your health been? Glad to hear it. Even if her smile seemed a bit forced, I was relieved to see her as energetic as ever. Dee, you aren't jealous of me or something, are you? Good to know I have a fucking weeaboo living under my roof again. Well, I won't hesitate to take decisive action when the time comes, but I'm still as laid back as ever, so you'll just have to live with it. Aren't you just romanticizing that? A different voice interrupted my conversation with Dee. I suppose Crow wanted to know what all the commotion in here was about. Good morning, Crow. All dressed up and ready to go, I see. Glimpsing the human version of Crow for the first time, Dee gave a shout of surprise. Didn't you hear that Crow became a human? Dee cocked her head to the side curiously. You think so too? That's quite an insult. Exactly. Dee raised her voice without warning. Dee was as cheery as ever, even when being retorted at. This isn't so bad. I was sitting on the bed because I was still sleepy, but I couldn't help but smile. Just as life had started to feel stagnant, Didi's arrival felt like a hugely refreshing gush of wind. A wind with the aroma of apples. I really did make a religion of not taking life too seriously. Then, if you guys don't keep it down, you'll summon the Demon King.
Oh.
They both froze in place. But it was already too late.
あら、魔王だなんて世界が大変ですね。
Michiru appeared out of nowhere. Sup, my goddess? Looking quite lovely this morning.
兄様をお許しします。ご主人様の代わりにいくらなんでも早すぎます。そうじゃ、そもそも我が輩もデイデイもミチルのことは何も言っておらぬぞ。朝から兄様の部屋に上がり込んでいるだけで罪です。それに口にせずともお二人の無駄に動揺した態度で私への評価が十二分に伝わるというものです。
I don't care what you do to either of them, but just get him out of my sight.
かしこまりました。
Michiru gave a deep bow and then she grabbed Crow and Didi by the backs of their collars, dragging them out of the room. It's a good morning, I'd say. As their screams receded into the distance, I stretched my back and deeply inhaled the fresh summer air. Then I started screwing around with my phone again, verifying the date and checking my email. Today was the first day Crow would be spending at school. And at the same time, today would also have been the day Miu fell from the rooftop. Well, guess I'd better wash my face and get dressed now. "30 minutes later, as I waited outside the house, a trio of fine young ladies soon appeared.
朝からひどい目にあったの。まったくです。二人しておバカなことをしているせいです。
Man, you've been apart for so long, but you guys still get along thick as thieves. You're gonna make your big bro a little sad, having so much fun without him like that.
兄様はそちらですね。
Michiru giggled and gracefully held out her hand for me to take. It was like she was showing off for the other two. In fact, it probably was her intention to demonstrate that she was the boss of them. Clever girl. But that was what made her cute.
相変わらずご主人様とお嬢様は仲良し小良し、清しこの夜ですね。クリスマスか。なんだか投稿も大所帯になりましたね。
And quite a lively one for this hour of the morning too. This kind of boisterous conversation certainly wasn't something which would happen if it were just me and Michiru walking to school together. And thinking about it, we've got quite an international looking lineup going on here. Makes us stand out a lot.
両手でも足りない花ですね。
We've got a pink Nadeshko, a sunflower and a queen of the night, I guess.
私はさもありなん。サンフラワーは大好きです。我が輩は美人か？
Crow evidently didn't realize what flower I was insinuating she would be. It's just the nickname for a night-blooming Sirius. Don't overthink it.
だが悪い気分ではない。おや。兄様、行きますよ。
Michiru was clearly pouting as she pulled on my hand. Oh, you're right. We should get going before the train gets too busy.
置いていくでない。
Crow trotted along behind us and grabbed the hem of my jacket once she caught up.
まるで親子のようですね。
I heard Didi's offhand comment, but I decided to just pretend I hadn't. For both Didi and Crow, it was technically their first day of school, but I didn't need to give them guidance since they already knew the way. Arriving at the station, we then boarded the monorail. Crow was staring intensely at the prepaid IC card I bought for her.
そういえば兄様、もう家でお父様やお母様にクロさんのことを隠す必要はありませんよ。
How did you manage that?
DD さんと口裏を合わせて、クロさんもイギリスからの留学生だとお伝えしておきました。
They weren't suspicious about the fact that we suddenly had an extra one?
客人が一人増えたところで、あの屋敷の人口密度はびくともしません。
That's true. Taking care of loose ends was Michiru's forte.
私はついメイドさんたちのことを知っている挨拶をしてしまって、ちょっと大変でした。
Oh, really? Didi would need to put on her foreign exchange student coming to class for the first time act again. When you show up in the classroom this time, you're gonna need to act like you haven't met me or Makoto before.
ご主人様と誠さんがいるからフォローしてもらえるとはシンキングしてます。
Well, we need to look out for Crow too this time, so try not to fall back on us too much.
兄様、もしかして気づいていらっしゃらないんですか？
Realized what?
いえ、まあ別にいいですけど。
I looked at Michiru curiously, but she just gave me a look that seemed like she had given up on me. Was she trying to tell me something? Then we split up after changing our shoes at the lockers, and then, just like the first time around, DD came into the classroom.
はい、皆さんグッモーニングでおはようございます。
Naturally, DD was in perfect form, since the curious stares from onlookers only gave her more energy.
私のネームはドロシーダ・レンポート。フレンドは DD と呼びますので、皆さんもそう呼ぶといいです。お待ちかねの転校生ですよ。
あれが噂の転校生か。マジで可愛いな。
Shuji muttered, sitting next to me and taking in the whole spectacle. Isn't that kind of cheerful girl the exact opposite of your type, though?
確かにそうだけど、なんでお前がそれを知ってるんだ？
I have my ways. As I kept talking with Shuji, more and more students gathered around DD. This situation certainly brought back memories.
ありゃ、ホームルームが始まるまで収まりそうもないな。
Just give them like 3 days. They'll get used to it soon enough. The crowd around DD was quite curious. They all wanted to know where she was from, how she got so good at Japanese, and much the same topics of casual conversation as before. By now, though, she was probably sick of answering those questions.
転校生は2人だって聞いたんだけどな。
Huh? When Shuji mentioned that, I remembered that he was actually right. Crow wasn't anywhere to be seen. But we'd arranged for her to be in the same class. What's going on? I couldn't imagine DD leaving Crow behind in the teacher's lounge. Hey, DD.
Hui!
Hui! Trying to catch DD's attention from outside the crowd, she picked up on my voice amidst the commotion very quickly. Where's Crow anyway?
クロさんなら恥じらって教室に入ってこれないようですね。
DD then turned in the direction of the hallway, wearing a friendly smile.
クロさん、ご主人様が呼んでますよ。
ご主人様？
Shuji was not alone in his reaction. The rest of the class recoiled in shock. Gah. I totally forgot about that. While stewing in my frustration over not being able to react immediately, I saw Crow peeking around the corner into the classroom. Then, after anxiously scanning the classroom, she saw me and ran over to my side. And to make matters even worse, she immediately clung to my back.
ご主人よ。我が輩を守ると約束したくせに、変なところに一人にするでない。
Is she the second one? He promised to protect her? Is this money's power? Can money really buy you love after all? The classroom exploded into a fervor of activity.
おい、さんずい。なんだこの我が輩キャラは。こんなのリアルに存在してたのか？
That's your light novels doing the talking, asshole! I took out the pocket watch, but as usual, I had to tell Shuji off before I turned back time. Start again! I threw the pocket watch to the ground with all my might. Is this what Michiru was ragging my ass about on the monorail?
お？何急に興奮してるんだ、サンゼイ。
Shuji, sitting next to me, was surprised at my sudden outburst. Forget it, just talking to myself here. Brushing off his confusion, I wiped away the cold sweat on the back of my neck. I had become so accustomed to being addressed as master, I had totally forgotten how weird it must have looked to everyone around me. Not to mention, this time I had 2 people calling me that. 2! I looked around the classroom one more time. Upon rewinding time by 5 minutes, it appeared that Didi hadn't gotten to the classroom yet. Unlike the last time this happened, I'd talked to Didi beforehand about the exact moment when she would make her presence known to everyone. If I stopped those 2 in the hallway, then there would be no problem.
Hi! 皆さん、Good morning でおはようございます。
Motherfucker! I was just about to dash out of the room, but that plan was quickly foiled. I was 5 seconds too late.
なあ、さっきから何なんだよ、お前。大丈夫か？
I'm not okay. If even Shuji was genuinely worried about me, that made it easy to figure out just how weird I must have been acting. Fucking shit! If I try to catch Didi's attention now, I'd just end up in the same situation as before. I shook my head, trying to come up with a better plan. I could go for sushi right now. No, stop avoiding the issue by thinking about food, Rei. Gah, I wish Chronos would just show up and smote my sorry ass right now, if it meant I wouldn't have to deal with this humiliation. Wait, it'd be way too pathetic if I were to die over something like this. For the record, Chronos didn't appear. Goddesses never fail to forsake me. All those thoughts flashed through my head in about 5 seconds. Then, noticing me trying to curl into the fetal position, Didi called out to me.
ご主人様、何してるんですか？なんだお主、どこか調子でも悪いのか？我が輩を置いていくでないぞ。
Then, to top it all off, Crow barged into the room as well. Of course, the room exploded with commotion. Wait, calm down everyone, there's a reason for all this.
あ、レイ君、もうどうせだから一緒に住ませておくけど、私もレイ君好きだって宣言しておくよ。
I heard one carefree voice from the back of the classroom. And that quickly got overpowered by the uproar of hollering from everyone else around. God damn it, Makoto, I thought you were on my side.
それなら私もご主人様のことはラブですよ。我が輩は違うぞ。誤解するな。
Then the voices died out as if the excitement in the classroom had surpassed the breaking point. No, they were only quiet because they wanted to hear my excuse. I got into the situation because I obtained a pocket watch that allows me to turn back time, and then I used it to experience all the different possibilities in this world many times over. Like I could actually say that out loud. Call it a passing fancy, I guess.